Hey, hello. Wow,
It's
at
like so
last.
hot in here, so I'm sorry about that.
No, I know the feeling because I'm actually in a small studio space, and with all the lights and everything, the computers on, it's really warm today.
It's fantastic to see you. How are you?
I'm really good. Lovely to see you, Helen, and I love your studio. It looks so much fun, and I can tell this is going to be a really fun chat.
Oh, thank you. Now, the last time I saw you, it was my last gig before lockdown. It was the one that I was reviewing for the Nottingham Post. It was an amazing atmosphere. What's your memories of that?
Oh, so many memories from that show, and obviously, as you said, this was just before the brakes were slammed on with the pandemic, and we didn't realise at that point that we wouldn't be able to complete the tour. But I do remember as I came from having something to eat to walk into the venue, and I saw everybody piling in, and there was such a buzz and hustle bustle that you get outside a venue before a show, and I knew that it was going to be a great night, and absolutely, it certainly was.
Oh, come on, sing with me now. Here we go. Within. Wow, nice. When I feel like hope is gone, give me strength to carry on. Each time I look at you, there's something new to keep my loving strong.
You came on stage and you were amazing because you said, "Hey up, Nots," which is, it's our local dialect. Do you know any
Of
more? Do you know
course.
any more Nottingham
No,
dialect?
no, nothing beyond "Hey up, me duck." Not
I'll teach
really.
you a new one. Shall I
Yes,
teach you a new
please.
one? All right.
All
All
right,
right.
absolutely. All right, and I mean,
Are you all right?
I can say that on the 17th because we are coming to the
You're,
rescue
you're
rooms.
coming to the
So,
rescue rooms, absolutely. So this tour, I imagine, is going to be a little bit different to the last one. I remember Ben saying to me last time that he thought the Boys Are Back tour was going to be like just one massive long stag do.
mm.
Was it like that?
Well, if you count like all the bands bring along their kids, which doesn't really make it very much like a stag do at all, but that's just a sign of the times, showing that we've all grown up a lot. And Ben actually has a little one on the way. Paul's got
Yes.
two kids, which he brought along a couple of times, which was lovely. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was like a stag do, but it definitely was like one long party because there wasn't so much pressure on us because we were just one of a few bands on the lineup, as opposed to our own headline tour. Now that's when the work starts.
So it's called the A Game. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, this tour, the idea of doing this tour spiraled out of us having a new album because, obviously, for those that aren't aware, Paul, the fourth member of our band, rejoined after a hiatus of many years. So we're back together and we haven't actually released an album. So we've been working on an album. Unfortunately, like everything else, the brakes were slammed on during the pandemic, so we weren't able to complete the album. But so this tour actually spiraled out of that new album. So it's a chance for us to show our fans what we've been up to in the studio and the new songs that we do have. Now, don't worry, we will be doing the hits because I know there's always that joke that when fans go along to see their favourite band and then the band goes, and now we're going to play a new song, and they go, boo! But that's not the case here because we're really proud of these songs. And I think our fans like to hear new music, particularly as it has been so long since we've released an album. So yes, it's basically inspired by the new music that we have, which has quite an 80s, early 90s vibe to it, very nostalgic. So I think it's going to be a great experience for everyone.
Just said you're going to sing some of the hits. Take on Me, obviously number one for you guys, wasn't number one for her.
Apparently not. Although, funnily enough, I think that song has probably been number one in every decade since Aha released it. It's such a massive song, and yes, that's right. They took it to number two in the UK, and we in 1984 or 85, I think it was a hit over here, and then we took it to its rightful place in the year 2000. Show my age now.
What's it like performing nowadays compared with back in the day? Because I read Louis Tomlinson from One Direction said at the weekend after he'd performed at a gig that he felt like God on stage, that it was just so incredible. What's it like with all those people screaming at you?
Well, I don't think my ego's that big, but I'm not. I'm going to try not to drop anyone in it. But I think actually one of the members in our band, their Skype name might actually be God. I'm gonna let you guess which one that might be. But yeah, it's an amazing high. There's nothing quite like it, because you feel for that amount of time that you're on stage that you can just do anything, and well, obviously within reason, but it's an amazing high that you get from being on stage. And personally, for me, whether I'm performing to thousands and thousands or just hundreds, it's the same thing. It's a buzz, and I love live music and I love live performance, because as opposed to anything that's pre-recorded like a video or anything, there are so many variables and intangibles that happen when you're performing live, that you just have to be prepared for anything, and I love it.
One of the things that you're also performing live, you're in panto later in the year. So this tour's running before you go into panto.
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh yes, you are. I wanted to ask you, because I saw Jason Donovan last year, or before lockdown, and when he was Pharaoh and his, and Joseph, and I just remember him coming out on stage and just screams and screams from all, the Jason Donovan fans. Do you have the same sort of impact when you come on stage in your panto?
I don't think anybody has the same impact as Jason Donovan. Maybe a couple of people, maybe Chesney Hawkes, but Jason Donovan is a little bit unique in the sense that he's such an icon from an era, like the late, obviously because of Neighbours, and the late 80s and early 90s. They don't really make artists like that anymore. Your Kylie Minogues, your Jason Donovan, your Rick Astley, your Chesney Hawkes. They're from a very different era, and I hope that people look back at bands like A1 and bands from today in the same way in years to come. But I think there's a certain kind of nostalgia that we really felt like we grew up with those artists. So that said, I'll answer your question now. There's a few screams when I come out on stage, which is always lovely. But I'm not going to claim that it's anything like Mr. Donovan's screams.
Okay, so you're coming to the Rescue Rooms. What date is it again? The 17th of October, is it?
That's right. We are coming to Nottingham again on the 17th of October. So very much looking forward to being there. And that's all throughout the tour. The tour is
I was just going to say, for anybody that's not yet bought a ticket, can you give a little plug then to Nottingham women, or Nottingham men and women that might want to come along?
Absolutely. You can get your tickets if you go to A1 Gigantic. I believe that is the website where you can get tickets, or if you just Google the A1 A Game Tour, you can get tickets for us at Nottingham on the 17th of October. The Rescue Rooms. We're coming to rescue you with some great music. And if you want to travel in December, you can come along and see me as Jack in Jack and the Beanstalk, all throughout December. In Redditch, a little bit of a trek away, not too far.
It's worth travelling for. Mark, it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time. That was lovely.
That's amazing. No, thank you so much, Helen. I really enjoyed it, and all the very best.